Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind Diet, and we're going to go ahead and do the Psychic Medium Deep Dive look in on Robin Hood. So this is actually something of nostalgia. When we watched the movie from Disney and we watched the other movies come in, and you do excuse me, my hair is actually a little bit too long, and it actually is a little bit pertinent about Robin Hood. So Robin Hood on lore and Robin Hood on like fantasy and folklore or anything like that, it goes down to a Celtic venue. And when it goes down to the Celtic venue, it actually has like a C and a portrait to a forsay. When you forsay in Gaelic, it is a gone, like get it gone, get it away from me, because it thieved me to the way of a known. So when you say Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves, it really has like a forsay of a portrait of a get it done, of a get it done. That's how I see it. Like back where I can see my grandparents a little bit. No, and then they are just like no, and they say it in such a like a fancy way of saying no, done. You can't do so right off the bat. You go right to hear the Akashic Tarot. What do we need to know about Robin Hood? Is Robin Hood real? There we go. So right here, the muse. It really is like a court jester. They walked into court. I can see Robin Hood as a psychic, and they literally portrayed everything, down to the bird's nest, probably sitting in their hair. It's real. When you see this and you see the Master Artesian, Robin Hood, when they actually read through all the documents and all the stories and what is passed down through generation and generation, you actually see nothing was crafted, like nothing was made new about this individual. When you see it actually through, you can see it. And it was really around the 15th century where Robin Hood really did come out as someone who was a thief and was thieves and prince of thieves, to be a dun to a dunce manner matter hat matter mad hatter, all those type of things. So when I see it, I'm seeing like 1500 right to like a gold coin, like a centurion coin, to where there really was no treasure, there really was nothing. So when you see the scribe in reverse and you see the waterfall, it really is bad written documentation that really flows through right down to the movies. When you see the views of Ego, there really is opposing views all the way down to Friar Tuck, to Little John, to King John. Clearing away obstacles, a lot of obstacles seen, down to the Renaissance fairs, down to everything that is known. But what is true? How is Robin Hood actually really like influencing society as today? Not grown. You can't even talk about it. When you see Hilarion, it's not in court. It's not anywhere in. It's in the woods. You have to go foresee it. When you see it, you see loving elementals. I see like stream and rocks. When I see the two worlds, you actually see nature as it portrays itself, the way it's known, to where you see it. Is this like a type of thief that would actually come in? When you see the karmic trench, it's not grown, it's already there. And when you see the journey, I see them walking in the woods like King Arthur. Nasty fated meetings. Nasty fated meetings. talked about, heard about, and seen and portrayed. So, as I see this individual, I see him what they call a lux dire, which means like a lackluster, where you can't get it known on what to bone next. And when you say bone next over like 400 centuries, it really did boil down into the cauldron, to the pot. So when you actually look at it and it boiled down to the pot, and it boiled down to that was all they had, that was no good, because there's other things there. So when it actually goes to resources, I'd have to say, so is it really being a thief? That's the morals and ethics. That is legal, judicial. That is law enforcement. And then you go to it, and then it goes to, here it is. Was it written in the stars? That is how they were back then. The animal saw it. The animal heard it. And then when you saw the tapestry and you saw the walk-in, you already knew how it was going to be. The 6 of clubs meant that there really was like alignment to a toe the line. When you went to the 4 of clubs, it was this 10 to complete everything as you walked into court. When you see this, the 8 of diamonds does represent like regal, royal, like old word, juster to adjust this. When you see this 8 and the 6 of diamonds, I do see the queen in the back. I do see a maid to a maiden. But when I look at the way they're showing a little bit in energy, this 9 of spades, man, like it was just done, like just go about, they would tell them. When you see this 9 and this 3, you can't even see it all whatsoever to the 3 of hearts. So the 9 and the 3 really don't complete a cycle, but really it is like, go get canned goods like as it was today and go do this. You can't do that because you got this 3 of hearts right here. They're watching. I have no coin. I have no base. I have nothing. When you see it and you see the 7 of clubs, that's where they band together. There's something a little bit like William Tell and Daniel Boone. William Tell is another nature story with Daniel Boone where they are pushed out and to live on the outskirts, to be outcasts. And when they're outcasts, it's known, but they do fend their own. That's all you need to know. So when I see this 2 of hearts that flew out, sick, maybe. Are they sick? Not known. Where is this going? How is this known? This is a really hard deep dive. Again, 9 of hearts showing me like seeing carriages. Here we go. Let's go to the Black Obsidian. What else do we need to know about Robin Hood? Strength, solidarity. I feel like solidarity is an injury. When I see this, Degas, when I see Fehu, I almost had to stop and think about that. I feel like that is why they couldn't use anything about themselves. They were too solid. I can't even say it. Hidden. Not to be known. Heritage. Estate. Based out. Outskirts. Wheel. Like wagon wheel. Spoke wheel. When I see this, you can't even do. When you see this, you can't even be it whatsoever. It really can't. There's like too much strength. Like they're too hard. You can't even be it. All you need to know is that it's a gift. When you see Rido, you can't even be it. Power. They're almost like Mason. Almost Knights of Templar. Almost everything that you see, like a whole lot of lackluster. They're saying lackluster. When you see this, it has a phrase. I feel like they were stone. When you look at this and you say, Hera collecting, I hear giddy up. When it's Robin Hood, giddy up. Havoc. I hear da. Stuttering. I don't know why I saw Moses. Instincts only. Like they can't feel. When you see Barkana, there was nothing born. Like they couldn't have children. Where is this going? Like you see, they had wealth though. Why? And I see this. It's almost like they were odd in the village. Odd. When you see this and you see Joy, at night, I see at night. I feel like it's not to the caliber of a Bonnie and Clyde. It's defensive. When I see Canoe, I actually see gold coins that they collected. Fated. Nasty fate that came towards them, these individuals with Robin Hood. When I see water, like river, something about river water. Here we go. What else do we need to know about Robin Hood? Sorry for the pause. Let's go to the Light Seer's Tarot. Let's see if that draws it out. There it is. At rest. Everything always happened at rest with them. When it pertained and it went to everything that you need to know, had no emotions at night because they were tired and fed up. So when you see this and you see the Five of Swords, you can't understand it when they came through at night as the movies portray. They were pretty balanced and attuned though. It's showing there was no feminine energy. That's what this Empress in reverse is saying. They were so not happy with the way it portrayed and worked out that they had no financial opportunities to rebound after instances evolving and revolving. When you see this and you see the sun again, reinforcing how unhappy they were in the 15th century, to where they were too isolated, like hermits. that was the victory that needed to be known about Robin Hood. When I actually look down it and I see at deep dive, I actually see people almost too alone to where they are too solid, but it's not injurious. They're like so sure that, and it actually does break up friendships and partnerships and issues with jobs to where it is a little bit of thieving. So when I look at this and I see the Two of Wands, you can actually like foresee it coming. It's almost right at the horizon, right at certain times. That is what causes chaos. Chaos. It is huge, huge. When you see this Five of Cups in reverse, it is not as much disappointment as what they went through, but it had to do with securement. So what else do we need to know? Unfulfilled wishes. They were stopped early. I feel like they were soldiers. I see the Ten of Swords in reverse. It is, then all of a sudden it's a new beginning. And I don't feel like it's the beginning that they wanted. When I see this and I see the Five of Wands in reverse, it does help with a struggle. But when I see death and rebirth, they're constantly like waking up and saying, like, I'm new. I'm back. I'm okay. Completed. Done. Can't even see it coming. What about family? What about everything? That is what they want us to know, a little bit in mediumship. So when I see the Ten of Pentacles, I actually see it like a stop still wind that actually came in through, which would go into King Arthur a little bit. When I see strength, it does come in strong, of wondering why. Why do I see two stories merge with Robin Hood and King Arthur and wizardry? Dishonor. To a degree. So let's talk about wizard. Wizard is a form of a hierarch that comes in and is known all the way through and through, mind, body, and soul. And other people know it already, that it comes in so sure of themselves that they just say no immediately. Their energy is so like harsh that when they cut away, that it actually makes it almost bizarre like, but they're balanced and attuned in everything about themselves. So when we talk about King Arthur and we talk about the movie, going back to like Disney and stuff like that, when you have Robin Hood and you've got Little John and Friar Tuck, and then you've got Archimedes and the wizard, and then Arthur, and he's got his older brothers, and he's trying to pull out this sword right out of this stone. What would that actually represent? I would have to say the sword to the stone has to get with a get together. What else do we need to know? What do we need to know about sword and the stone to everything? It's happened before in history. They're in their realm, these individuals and these stories. That's the Emperor. You can read about it historically, about manifesting, planting, agriculture. No stone. Type of corn, type of feed. When you see the Eight of Wands in reverse, there's no like calling out and talking about. When you see this and you see the Ten of Cups, it goes in reverse. You can't even be it. Can't even be it. Family Disrupt. I see a little bit of Daniel Boone. When I see this and I see the King of Pentacles, by that time you see them, they actually have money. Then they walk away. There's like turning points. I don't see fire. What does this sword? It is Celtic. It is Stonehenge. On a stare out really quick. I see orange. I see Vietnam. How would like cocaine or heroin be in the 1500s? In your bread. In your bread. There was a lot of issues in World War. It was in bread. When you see this and you see the Three of Swords to the Hangman in reverse, pauses. You can't even believe it. When you see this and you see the Six of Swords, turbulent and force, you can't even believe it. All right. Let's look at another oracle. Let's look at the Literary Witches Oracle. What else? Lackluster. Ring. Gold ring. Let's look. I see Lady Cluck. There it is. All the lore is right there in front of you with Archimedes, the owl. Community. When you see it, you see the soul. When you see the doll, you can't even believe it. It's old wounds. It's literally old wounds. Oh my goodness. When you see this, the noose, it's not literal. Not literal with Oracle with this one. You see, this is like trolling now. This is awful. This is heinous for a psychic read. Like, all of a sudden you see all these things. It's ancient past lore. It really is. So let's actually go to lore. Let's look at what the book wants us to know. Oh my God, that's heinous. Anxiety, threat, self-sabotage. Teacup. Ease, rest, small mind. You see it, wisdom, good roots, connection. I feel like these individuals who actually lived on the outskirts, like when it talked about Robin Hood and Little John and Lady Cluck and all those Disney characters, these were outcasts, and these were people who actually lived on the outskirts of town. They already knew it. They already saw it. They already went to court. They probably were arrested. And they have got nothing. And here it is. They're like, you're not to know it. You're basically not privy, all the way down to like a Wheel of Fortune. And then when you actually see it, everyone gets so upset. Like, how come I can't know it? Sometimes the universe and other people and like energy and the afterlife does not release information about what like psychics can pick up on, or intuitively you can pick up on anything. On anything. So, my God. Let's look at the crystal quartz. What else does Robin Hood want us to know about this? He's showing pear. So when you see pear, and when you saw Stonehenge, and you see Sword in the Stone, and you see Vietnam, and you see pear, it really does have to go to Korea. And when you go to Korea, you can't even do it at all. So when you roll the dice, you go to 04. What was happening in 2004? It literally goes right down to Afghanistan, and it goes to poppies, and it goes to heroin, and then you go right all the way through. Like, what is due? What is due? You can't even see it. Oh my God, this is a heinous review. You look at it, everyone's like, oh my God. It really is. It really is. When you see this, you can't even believe it. It was so simple. Like, well, what's over there? What's popping off? And everyone's like, well, just look at the food and how everyone's responding. Look at the energy. Everyone's tired. They're low. They're low. They're literally low. When you look at it and you go this, we have Manas Othala Dega Barkana. Where is it all being born again? That's all you need to know. That is what made it so simple. It really wasn't hard. Usually it wasn't. What actually is like the kick up of the tick up with Robin Hood and all these characters? It was trees, it was leaves, it was bark. When I saw it, when I was an LPN, retired nurse now, I see birch shavings. I see oak shavings like mulch. When you see the mulch, you see coffee grounds growing, like homesteading. And then when you see it, you're like, I got it. That's all you need to know. When you look at it again, it is fated, but it's not. It's ill fate. So when you have ill fate, when you have these stories come in with lore, and lore is like a tie to it, tied to it. You go to this, flows through. So let's actually set a little bit better with the true definition of lore. Lore is when you got it done. Lore is ancient past. Lore is talk of ancient past that connects through down to connecting the dots. It is not a heresy, it's a hearsay, and it goes on through. That's why the Civil War is so pertinent right now. So let's look at the White Sage Tarot, and then we will end it. What do we need to know about the Civil War, Robin Hood, King Arthur, and all these events? So we got Korea now. Let's tie it and on through it. Weak, low. That's all you need to know. Lack of judgment. That's all you need to know. So we'll leave it right there because I feel like another deep dive will tie it even better through on what is going on. So with that being said, any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share, an email, a subscribe. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll talk to you soon.